Sunday Night Football, a little bit of lust lost because of the Derrick Henry injury, but the Tennessee Titans and the LA Rams, the over-under is 53.5. I'll take the Rams to win this game, and I'm actually still going to take them on the over. Even though Derrick Henry's out, I still think the Titans will still score a good amount of points, where I think it'll keep it over the passing game. Jalen Ramsey will shut down one guy, but I think if it's A.J. Brown taken out, it'll be Julio Jones in that sense. And even some of the other receivers that replaced those guys when they were hurt have played well at certain points, and they'll be throwing the ball more. So I'll take the Rams. I'll take them on the over.
I take the Rams, too. I think the Rams will win this game. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I want to see Adrian Peterson play. And if Adrian Peterson is somewhat the old Adrian Peterson, can give you 50, 60 yards and give you a touchdown here and there, I think they got themselves something. But without a running back, without a running game, I don't think this team is going to win anything. I do not believe they're going to the Super Bowl now. But give me the Rams on the over. I think they will win this game. I think it'll be a high-flying, high-scoring game.
All right, Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals. The over-under is 47. I'm going to go with the Browns on the road here. I think the Odell drama that's going on with them, I think that's going to fire up a lot of these other players. Definitely going to fire Baker Mayfield in this game. We saw the Bengals secondary have a lot of trouble against the Jets last week, and I think the Browns will be able to expose certain things with that. Their young receivers have still played well even when Odell's been hurt, so I don't think that'll make too much of a difference. They get Nick Chubb back fully healthy this week. He was playing kind of hurt last week, and I think that'll make a difference. So give me Cleveland. Close game on the over.
I want to go with the Bengals. I want to go against you this week, but I did pick Cleveland as well on the Sports Loudmouths. So I'm going to take Cleveland in this game. I think it's a big game for them. The Odell Beckham thing, now, I don't know if this is going to help them. That Odell Beckham caused a lot of trouble in the locker room. But I do believe Chubb coming back is going to help them solidify their running game. Another power to their offensive game. And I think the defense will keep Joe Burrows in check. So give me the Cleveland Browns. What did you have them? The over?
I had them on the over.
Cincinnati's going to score a lot, too. Give me on the over, too. I can't believe I'm going to copy you.
All right,
Cleveland on over.
One more. Arizona Cardinals at the San Francisco 49ers. 45.5 is the total here. I'm going to take the Cardinals. This will be my first under, though. I think the Cardinals will win. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but I think it'll be like a semi-big blowout. They're dealing with a lot of injury issues with their offense. DeAndre Hopkins was on a snap count kind of last week. He went in on his own for some reason. Kyler Murray's not 100%, but I think the defense will do enough. The Niners' offense has been kind of one-dimensional this year, and the areas that I think that Kyle Shanahan should expose in this defense, they haven't been doing a lot of this year with their running game and with George Kittle, who's still hurt right now, and even their other tight ends have taken over. So I'll take the Cardinals on the under.
I got the 49ers in this game. They're at home. They lost the first game against Arizona. In Arizona, they need this game. San Francisco needs this game. I don't know if Jimmy's playing. I don't know who's playing this game, but I don't care. I think they'll be able to run the ball. Obviously, Arizona losing J.J. Watt does hurt their defense, but they have Javen Collins and all the other beasts that they have, so who knows what's going to happen. But give me San Francisco. I think San Francisco will win this game. Give me a win from San Francisco on the over.
They have the Hall of Famer, Zaven Collins. Don't discredit that.
Oh, well, that's what Jeff thinks. I mean, ridiculous. He's already thinking that he's a Hall of Famer. He has had a good season.
He has had a very good season.
I don't know if he's Defensive Rookie of the Year, but he's had a good season.
That'll probably be Micah Parsons. But Zaven Collins has played well, especially in coverage, too, which that wasn't his main role at Tulsa, but did have some good traits with that.
He is a beast of a man, that's for sure. Anyways, why not get into the Braves first? Because they win the World Series. And I know a lot of Met fans are not happy about this. I'm sure they have their own thoughts to the Atlanta Braves. Obviously, they've been their arch nemesis. We all know what has happened in Shea Stadium over the years and all the different players, the Andrew Joneses of the world and Tom Glavine.
The other Jones was the big nemesis of the Mets.
Yes, the Chipper Joneses and all of them. You know, Greg Maddux. The Met fans are not happy that the Braves won, but anybody else in professional baseball that are rooting for other teams in baseball are very happy that the Houston Astros, the whistling champions, are not World Series champions. And I think as a Yankee fan, the Yankees are very happy that the Boston Red Sox and the Astros did not win. But I still think it's a big offseason for both teams. And I'm going to tell you why in just 1 second. But congratulations to the Atlanta Braves. Great defense, great offense. The moves that the GM made, added all the outfielders with Acuna's injury. Soler actually won the MVP. He was a big part of the team. I don't know if they re-sign him. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of teams lining up for Soler, especially the way he played in the second half of the season and the way he hit the ball in the playoffs. He was a big part of their offense and a big part of what they accomplished winning the World Series. But Fried played great in the final game, pitched a 4-hitter, gave up no runs. The Astros couldn't do anything to get Fried. What they did earlier in the World Series against him, they didn't do in the final game of the World Series. So I was ecstatic for the young pitcher. I was ecstatic for somebody like Freeman, who I really, really like. I really respect. I think he's a sensational player. He's been a great player since 2007, since he came into the league for the Braves. He is a free agent this year. Now, the Braves could re-sign him. They might possibly do that. He does want to be a Brave, but I'm sure there will be teams lining up for him because he's still fairly young, durable, plays a lot of games, great defensive player, a Gold Glove defensive player, and power hitter. And he hits for average as well. So he is the all-American player that you want on your team as a first baseman. So even though the Braves will have their first licks on him, if a team overpays him, he's going there. And I say that because there is a team looking for a first baseman in the American League, and that is the New York Yankees. Now, they were talking about not spending too much on that position. They haven't spent that kind of money on a first baseman since Mark Teixeira. But I think if you're going to spend that kind of money on a player this offseason, you really could solidify your infield bringing in a guy like Freeman. Even with the deficiencies at your shortstop right now, but you have Volpe coming up. I think he will win the job. You move Gleyber Torres. You bring in a veteran catcher. They like the guy that actually signed with Detroit the other day.
Barnhart,
yeah, that's the guy they really wanted.
Very good defensive catcher.
That's why they wanted him. Obviously, is showing you that they're probably not bringing back Gary Sanchez. Probably arbitrate him and then trade him. I think that where the Yankees are at, I don't know what they're going to do in the offseason, but they got to do something because they cannot sit back and think that this team is going to be able to compete with the Boston Red Sox for what they did this year and the Houston Astros for what they did this year. So there's a lot of decisions that the Yankees have to make. They made their decision with their manager. I don't think it was a bad decision because I don't think there was anybody available this offseason. But just because they gave him a 3-year extension does not mean they're not going to fire him after next year. And I believe the Yankees and any team, anybody that knows professional sports, no coach gets a 1-year contract. No coach. They usually get a 3 to 4 year contract extension. And if they decide they don't want to use him next year, after next year, they fire him. He gets 2 years. He could sit out, hang out with his family. But if he signs with another team and he takes another job, that contract is null and void. So if he has a good season as a manager and they win the World Series, well, then they have him clear for 2 years and they're paying him an affordable contract for a manager that won a World Series. Because you know when you win a World Series, you make more money.
Of course.
So I think that the way the Yankees are positioned, and I told this to Tyler, and he almost jumped off a plank, I don't think this was a bad move by the Yankees. There was nobody available. Bringing in a Buck Showalter, who already worked for the Yankees, and who is an older type of manager, it doesn't make sense. You're going to bring in a young guy, bring in a new guy that's going to transform this team and change this team completely. And then you're going to have to make significant moves because they got to fit in his offense and fit in his defense. So I think the Yankees aren't ready to do that. And I think that is why you saw Aaron Boone come back. So, Speedy, you see what's going on. Obviously, the Mets, what the Mets need to do this offseason is significant. With the Braves winning the World Series, they're going to have to make some moves because a team winning in your division, a team that you can't stand, a team that is your arch nemesis, you need to do something.
Yeah, 2 out of the last 3 years. I saw the Nationals do it, and now I saw the Braves. So definitely a wake-up call. I'll start with the Braves, though. I'll give them their credit. Max Fried, an absolutely inspiring performance, Game 6. Had his ankle rolled by Michael Brantley, the second batter of the game. Got out of that jam and just pitched brilliantly after that. His off-speed stuff was on. His strikeout stuff was on. Just an absolutely brilliant performance. Soler with a 3-run homer, a moonshot that went out of the stadium. Anthopoulos, like you mentioned, got to give him credit for getting those outfielders to platoon when Acuna went down. Duvall as well. All 4 of them had big roles at certain points. It was Jock Peterson mainly in the NLDS, and then it was Rosario in the NLCS, and then it was Soler in the World Series, who won World Series MVP, and Duvall was pretty good throughout the entirety of it as well. So give them a lot of credit. Freddie Freeman gets his first championship. I think he's the best first baseman in baseball. And
he probably is.
And I do think he will end up going back to the Braves.
It depends. It all depends on money, and I think there'll be teams lining up for that.
Even if it's a little bit less, I do think the Braves will give him that because they're not cash-strapped right now. They don't have a lot of bad contracts to worry about right now. So I think they will end up
better
bringing
open
him back.
Up their pockets.
They will because they have a lot of young talent on this team. In terms of the outfielders, I think maybe they'll only bring back maybe 2 out of the 3 of them because Duvall has 1 more year, so stay, and then they'll probably pick between those three beyond that. But
I think Rosario's gone, and I think Solera's going to be gone because both of them are going to want big contracts.
The interesting thing with Solera, though, is if they do bring the DH to the National League, that's going to serve a purpose for him, but they also could serve that role with Duvall.
Is the CBA going to be changed this year?
This upcoming month is the decision. But Duvall could serve that kind of role, too, so we'll see. In terms of the Yankees and the Mets, the Yankees, I think I've always lobbied for them to get depth when it comes to their pitching, because I think they had a good, talented bullpen for a while that I think now we've seen teams kind of change bullpen strategy now. It's not the Royals bullpen or the Brewers bullpen or the Padres bullpen of the past, even the Yankees bullpen of the past, too. It's not that traditional type anymore. Versatile relievers are the wave of the game now. We saw the Braves even do that, too, where they had different guys go for 2 innings in different parts of the game, too, especially when Morton went down. So I think the Yankees are going to go for a lot of different veteran-type pitchers, both lefties and righties, and guys that could be versatile in many different roles. I don't think they need to swing after one guy like they did with Garrett Cole 2 years ago, especially with the injuries they've endured the last couple of years. I think they need guys that could be reliable, just weathering the storm throughout the season, too. The Yankees were very streak-reliant last year. They had their great hot streak, 15 games in a row, but then they kind of died out for a while. Then they were hot at the beginning of September, then died out. Then they barely held on and made the playoffs. So they have to be a little more consistent when it comes to that if they want to take that next step, especially with the Blue Jays rising. The Rays are still going to be very good. We'll see on the Red Sox. They're always a fluky team, but the division's obviously the best in baseball, so they're going to have to make some moves. I think it starts with the pitching, and I definitely would invest into a veteran catcher as well.